Okay, so what does it mean to be colored? There was recently that situation on TikTok, the whole Tyler conversation where people said, with Simone said, referred to her as black, and someone corrected her. And whilst people were saying that there was a lot of anti-black comments that were made towards Simone, which let's not kid around, we all know that within the colored community there is anti-blackness, and I feel like that is still something that remains from the previous government that had us believe that your close proximity to Europeanness is what made you quierer. And then you still had things like the Group Areas Act that said jy kan hier bly, jy kan daar bly, or jy moet hier bly, you know. And so I feel like that is still like it's still a massive demon that is still showing its ugly head within our community. I was subjected to colorism growing up. I'm quite brown, which I love. And my hair is doing what it does. So let's not get around. Yes, there is colorism within the colored community. Ons almal weer don't even try to. But what I mainly got from what colored people were just trying to say is that this is who we are. This is who we are. Acknowledge us for who we are. And then respect us for who we are and for what we contribute. And love us for who we are and for what we contribute. And for the way we walk and the way we talk and the way we, the way we do our things. I feel like it's also us coming from a place of, I don't think that fatigue is the word. I think it's just we've had enough. We've been having enough. And for so long, ever since people have been telling us what we are. People are telling us what we are, and people are telling us what we are not. And we so loudly say, no, but this is what we are. Why don't you want to see us for what we are? Why don't you want to acknowledge me for what I say I am, for example? So it's wanting to shout it from the rooftops. And so with a question like, what does it mean to be colored? I mean, there are so many answers. There are so many answers to that. For me now, one of the things is, as I mentioned, my father's father was Xhosa. And it's something that we actually only found out when he was on his deathbed, because he reclassified. And then on my mother's side, I have got, indigenous and European and Asian. And I remember I lived in Bloemfontein for a while. And when I was there, I remember when I shared with people that my grandfather was Xhosa, they immediately classified me as black. And then I was like, but I'm colored. And they're like, but your father's black. I'm like, but I'm colored. My father's colored, my mother's colored. I grew up within a colored community. All my family's colored, And I felt like I had to make my point, And it was almost like immediately it was seen as I want to detach myself from a blackness, which is completely not it. It is a thing of, I am all of this, and my community is all of this. And because we are all of this, because of my mother's family, they belong to they are Muslim. And so part of the Cape Malay culture is what I grew up with. My oma se mense is half van George and Mosselbaai and whatnot. En daar's baie van die Griekwa traditions wat ook deurkom, And so I'm all of that. I don't pick one. I pick it all because I am all, because I come from all. And that should be appreciated for what it is, and that should be respected. And if I believe that I am all, then I expect other people to respect that, and to not prescribe to me what I am, because in your country or in your household or in what this is said. Nee, this is what I choose. This is what I am. And I must say that is also for me the beauty and the enjoyment for me of being a colored person, is that I really find it beautiful that we are such a mengelmoes of so many things, of so many ethnicities and backgrounds and countries and cultures and all these things. And the fact that we decided to make it our own, and the fact that we came up with we created our own thing based on all the things that we come from, I find that absolutely beautiful. And I find it beautiful for many reasons, but also for the fact that it's not boxed, man. It's not boxed. I also do want to say that I really love colored people. And as a belief, it doesn't mean I don't love other people who love other people less. As it tiny. I really, really love colored people. And I see it with like Arensvlei, and Suidooster, and how people just love seeing people from their communities and to see their community represented on TV. And the fact that we all, we all know that within one family, my cousins don't look like Sar, but they blood. And so that is represented as well, all our, on the shows, all our nuances and the fact that we all look different, but we're part of the same family, and that is exactly what it is. We all look different, but we're the same. I can only also speak from my experience, because I only grew up within a colored community. I didn't grow up in a white community or black community or any other. I grew up within colored community. I grew up in Pontyville and Kensington and Factoryton. And the sense of community that I experienced there. I will not say where I live now, mainly because I will say that I have not experienced as big of a sense of community as I do where I live now. And that's the only reason why I won't mention it. But growing up, the sense of community, that thing of like, julle is mense wat gesê is, julle bly hier, julle bly daar, want julle is mos nou nie, jy weet, you sound white. So we just created this beautiful sense of community. I remember when I started acting, and when I that was the days before Uber, before alles or whatnot. It was the people there in my street who emergency, ek moet gou hierso by jou audition, wie's op gou by jou daar. No, it's fine. Come, quickly come. I take you. Not even blinking, not even thinking twice. You see people's matric balls, where it's not only the immediate family and the extended family that, gets a boardie. Jy kom gou hier ook aan die straat, there, 2 streets down, jy aan die ander kant van die plein kom gou, so and so and so, we make you a boardie, it's alright, and that sense of community is something that is so beautiful. And You know, it's things like the matric ball. My husband's not colored. My husband's white Afrikaans. And now it's October now, and he saw it was my cousin, and it was my cousin's matric ball recently, and he was like, "Yo, it's like a wedding, hey?" I said, "Yes, ons hou nie terug nie." And I really love the fact that we do that, and that is something that we decided we're gonna do, you know. And it's things like that and like the auntie who stays in the street, where on a Sunday morning jy staan met jou bakkie, jy het jou order Saterdag ingesit, and you're gonna stand with your bakkie on Sunday morning for your kusistes in die hele straat staan daar so. And also, it's posh, man. You're not gonna get a kusiste like that anywhere in the shop. Jy moet dit by 'n auntie gaan koop in the community. And it's things like that where, yeah, you get a government, no, that goes and forces you into a certain area. And then you as a people go, I don't want to show which finger now. You as a people go, ko ons wys gou vir jou, hoe maak ons die community? And then we haven't even touched on the stories and the characters and the historical events that occurred and those stories that have not been told. There's so much to tell about us, and then there's also so much for us to discover about ourselves, because so much of it was not documented. And these discoveries of ourselves, yes, it lies within finding, you know, the stuff within those official documents that exist somewhere, what. But then it's also like the oral tradition, those stories that are told. And how we should, ons moet sit met ons oumas en allerlei mense, en hulle moet vir ons vertel. And I've noticed from conversations with older people that there's a lot of dink as nog baie seer. It's obviously, dink nie, Crystal, is obviously nog baie seer. And we need to sit with them, and we need to talk to them, you know. So I don't know if I answered the question of what it means to be colored, but what I did do is I gave my experience and my viewpoint, and I am colored. So I think that alone means that I answered the question. I hope. And there's still so much I want to say, but I think that this is definitely, I would love to be I would love to have this conversation with people in person, with colored people in person, and in a safe space, and a space without judgment, and in a space where we can just talk, you know, just talk. And all of us, from Joburg and Durban and the Eastern Cape en van die Vrystaat en van oral, I would love a big space waar ons almal net lekker kan chat